birth weight of a child has a lot to do with the length of gestation and the intrauterine growth rate. Altitude has a lot to do with the weight of a child at birth, and it's basically dependent solely on the intrauterine growth rate, because gestation and its length doesn't really have to do with altitude. So I'm just going to focus on the intrauterine growth rate. And so altitude has a lot to do with this, and altitude definitely affects the blood flow that gets to the fetus. And so when you're at high altitude, there's going to be a decrease in uteroplacental blood flow, and this is because there is less vasodilation, so your vessels are not dilating, not as much blood can get through them. But with this, there's also an increase in blood flow velocity, so in order to compensate for this change, there's going to be a smaller volumetric flow to the intrauterine artery. And so less blood flow to the intrauterine artery means less oxygen and nutrients getting to the fetus, and so ultimately the weight of the child is going to be less. You can also look at it in terms of the external iliac artery. The external iliac artery is in the mother, and when she's not pregnant, she's going to have a lot of blood flow through that artery. It's very important to her body, but when she becomes pregnant, that intrauterine artery is going to take a lot of that blood away. And when you're at altitude, there's going to be just a little bit more blood flow staying in that external iliac artery, and so less blood is going to be given to that intrauterine artery, and ultimately less blood flow to the fetus, and again less nutrients and oxygen, and a smaller birth rate or birth weight.